Hello there everyone, welcome back to the channel. Its-A-Mii here, and today we are doing what should be our final Nintendo Switch 2 launch game unboxing, and we're doing a double dose in this video because not only are we unboxing the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Nintendo Switch 2 edition, we're also going to take a look at the physical 4 Tears of the Kingdom Nintendo Switch 2 edition, plus all 4 new Tears of the Kingdom amiibo. I'm going to open these up, I'm going to play them for a little bit each, and give some early impressions on the Nintendo Switch 2 versions. So if you want to see that, but also more videos like this, I would appreciate you liking the video and subscribing. Let's get into it. Alrighty folks, welcome back. This should be our final Switch 2 launch unboxing. I do have some games imported from Japan to check out in a couple of days, but in terms of what I bought on release day, this is it. This is all of it. I really do appreciate the support on all of these videos, but let's go ahead and check out the Breath of the Wild physical here. I have the original Nintendo Switch version. I do also have the Wii U copy somewhere. This is a game that I love so much. I don't mind paying for it again to own it physically, but also to replay it on Nintendo Switch 2. I've already played this game multiple times, and I imagine in the very near future I'll be doing another full playthrough of this one, although I am more excited to check out Tears of the Kingdom. So here we have the box arts. Of course, the Switch 1 box art certainly looks better because there's not all that text going on. Nintendo Switch 2 edition nonsense. The banner on Switch 1 is a lot less intrusive than on Switch 2. And then this one also has the text at the bottom that reads, includes the Nintendo Switch game and Nintendo Switch 2 edition upgrade pack. Upgrade pack also available separately. So if you don't know, if you already have a Nintendo Switch Online and the expansion pack, the update for this game, the $10 update, is free for you. It's included in your membership. You can also buy it for $10 on the eShop if you already own the game physically on Nintendo Switch. And you might be asking, Bo, why'd you buy it again on Switch 2 if you didn't need to do that? Well, that's because I am a Nintendo and Zelda collector, and I wanted to own it physically on Switch 2 and bring you this unboxing. So here we have the front of the box here. Here is the spine. They managed to fit it all on there. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Nintendo Switch 2 edition. I'll have to squeeze that in. I'm excited to see the Kirby one. The Kirby one's crazy because that game title is so long. Here's the spine compared to the Switch 1 version here. Yeah, once again, definitely preferring these Switch 2 spines on these boxes. I originally was kind of hesitant to say I really liked it, but I definitely do like these more. And then we have the back of the box. Now, this is from, I believe, either the Explorer's Edition or maybe it was from the Special Edition, so quite different here. Although in practice, the actual Switch regular box art back of the box looks pretty similar to what we're seeing here. Although it does say an enhanced adventure on Nintendo Switch 2. We have a ton of screenshots of the game. It says, answer the call. The shadow of Calamity Ganon rises over the ashes of Hyrule. Craft your survival, which is always funny to me because this game doesn't really have crafting of any sort. I mean, you can cook in it, so that's a thing. I guess that's kind of like crafting. You're putting materials together, but you're not really crafting in this game, to be honest. Defend the Legend. Of course, it does support Amiibo still. The Switch 2 does have NFC readers, and even if it didn't, you can use the Switch 1 Joy-Con or Pro Controller. Improved graphical experience, and of course, it also supports the new Zelda Notes app. Within the Nintendo Switch app, there's like this Zelda Notes thing where you can have like voice guidance from Zelda. It's like a GPS AI voice. It's very strange for the Switch 2 version. I'm more here for the graphical improvements. Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite games of all time, but it doesn't run that well. So to have it upgraded to 4K 60 FPS, that is enough to make me want to replay this game sooner than I would have otherwise. So we'll check out Tears of the Kingdom in just a second, but let's go ahead and crack this one open here and see what is inside. I believe it should be basically the same as the Nintendo Switch version in terms of what's inside of it. So let's go ahead and see if I can get this off. The plastic is fighting me. Oh, it just pulled right off like a sleeve. There you go. Okay, front of the box, spine, back of the box, and the inside. Very basic. Very basic release. Although, if you look at the Switch 1 version, I mean, it is the same thing here. They just have the exact same reversible cover art. Here is a comparison of the cartridges. Now, this is a Switch 2 edition, which means that this cartridge right here, that can actually be put into a Switch 1. In fact, we'll do that in this video to show you what that's like. But yeah, those are the cartridges. This one does say Nintendo Switch 2 Edition on it. Of course, not a game key card. The content is on the cartridge, which is nice. But yeah, that is the comparison there. Pretty similar. Of course, the box art, I mean, I don't really need to pull it out, but yeah, it's the same art. You can flip that if you want to. I'm going to leave it as is, though. Okay, first things first, let's go ahead and pop this into the Switch OLED. It feels weird holding this. After playing the Switch 2 for the past couple of days, like putting the OG, I guess the Switch OLED in my hands feels a little odd. But But yeah, as you can see there, you put the Switch 2 red cartridge in, and it has the Switch 1 version of the game on there. That does have a new update available, so it looks like there will be a download. We'll see. But yeah, there is that on Switch 1. And putting the cartridge in to the Switch 2 here, similar thing, although this one does say Nintendo Switch 2 Edition on it. And that does require a download. There is an update. So I think the way these Switch 2 Edition cartridges work is they're actually just Switch 1 cartridges, but they're red. They include the data for the Switch 1 version on there, but then you need to download the Switch 2 patch. Now, I can start this up, but I'm pretty sure I'd just be running like the original version, which should run better because the Switch 2 is more powerful, but it's not going to have all the Zelda Note stuff. So I'm going to download this first so I can pop this up and start playing it instead of Split Fiction, which I'm also downloading for the other video. Let's see, how big is this download? It says it's going to take like 20 minutes, although that time is dropping rapidly. Let's go to the settings and see exactly how big this is. Okay, it looks like for the Switch 2 Edition upgrade, it is a 1.3 gig download for that content, or for the enhancements for that version, I should say. We'll play some Breath of the Wild in just a second, but until then, let's go ahead and check out the Switch 2 version of Tears of the Kingdom, my personal game of the year, 2023. Although Mario Wonder was up there, I did quite enjoy Mario Wonder. In fact, they swap here and there. Here we have the comparison of the Switch 1 box art and the Switch 2. Once again, Switch 1 box art does look better because it doesn't have all that intrusive stuff all over it. Although I love this box art. The box arts for these Zelda games, they cooked with the overall design of them. Pretty similar thing here. Front of the box says Switch 2 Edition. It includes the game and upgrade. We just went over this. We don't need to go over it again. Here we have the spine for Tears of the Kingdom on Nintendo Switch 2. They did manage to fit it all on there. In fact, we'll go ahead and have both of them. If you bought both of these, this is what it would look like on a shelf. Looks pretty nice in my opinion, but probably not worth buying these again if you already own them on Nintendo Switch 1. An enhanced adventure on Nintendo Switch 2. Explore, craft, and construct fantastic weapons and vehicles. Venture to the islands in the sky. Create, brave the cataclysm in Hyrule. Discover, amiibo supports, improved graphical experience, and once again, Zelda Notes is promoted on the back of the box for this version. Let's go ahead and crack it open, though, so we can pop it in and start playing. I'm really excited to actually just put this on and play it in handheld and play it dock to see how much better it runs than the Nintendo Switch version, because I put 100 hours into each of these games on Nintendo Switch, but it did have issues. There's no denying the frame rate, especially in the Korok Forest and on Switch 1, or when you're skydiving in Tears of the Kingdom. It's still a technical marvel what they managed to accomplish with these games on Nintendo Switch, but still, I want 4K 60 for these. Some of the best games ever made. They deserve to be played at a higher fidelity. So here we have the inside, similar thing to the Switch version. In fact, it is the exact same. They kept the same cover art there. Here we have the cartridge for the Switch 2 edition of Tears of the Kingdom right here. Comparing that to the Switch 1 cartridge. I would even say the cartridges on Switch 1 look nicer because they didn't have to shrink the logo to fit the Nintendo Switch 2 edition thing on there, but let's be real, the cartridge doesn't really matter, at least not what's on it, or what's physically on it, visibly on it. Let's go ahead and pop that into our Switch 2, though. We don't need to pop it into the Switch 1 this time. You all know how that works now. Switch 2 editions can be played on there. So let's go ahead and pop this in, turn on our Switch 2, close our little cartridge slot. Still getting used to the fact that it opens from behind. You have to pull it up. And there we have our Switch 2 logo for this. Going to download the update for the Switch 2 enhancements, and we'll see just how much storage space that is taking up here. Okay, interestingly, this one is actually smaller, it looks like, for Tears of the Kingdom. It's 718 megabytes versus the 1.3, was it, for Breath of the Wild, I believe? Yeah, 1.3 gigs for the Breath of the Wild Switch 2 upgrade, so a little bit smaller for Tears of the Kingdom. That's interesting. Okay, so I'm going to let those download, and we'll check them out in just a second. While we're here, I figured I would go ahead and show off the new amiibo for Tears of the Kingdom, where you can get new paragliders and stuff in the game. I'm not going to open them. I collect amiibo in box, but still wanted to show them off here. So we have Sidon. This is a good-looking amiibo. Good lord. Yeah, that with this freaking trident spear and everything. Yeah, this is a really nice looking amiibo here. These new Zelda amiibo are extremely overpriced. These are $30 thanks to the tariffs. Originally they were $20 and they raised the price. So yeah, $30. Is he worth $30? Probably not, but that is a high quality Sidon figure right there. Of course, we also have Riju here. It's funny, she's not even facing the from the front view. You can't even see her face. But she looks really good as well. Her clothing, her little bow, or I guess it's a what's that blade called? Her blade on her back, or her guard for it, right? That looks really nice as well for Riju. Here we have Tolan from Tears of the Kingdom with his little pose here. He's on a white stand flying towards you. That one looks pretty nice as well. And then last but certainly not least, the hardest one to get, at least pre-release. For some reason, there were no pre-orders for this man. We have Unobo. Mine got a little damaged, it looks like, when they were unpacking it at the GameStop, but he is a bigger size, so comparing it to the other ones, he's more of that original amiibo size, whereas these ones are a little bit smaller in terms of their packaging, but he looks really good as well. Nice chunky Goron boy for the amiibo collection. So I just wanted to show these off real quick. Cool additions to the Zelda series of amiibo. Hopefully they don't do too many more. They're going to be costing $30. I can't be affording these. Although I won't be complaining if they release more, because I'll always show up for some more Zelda amiibo. I love Zelda amiibo. With that said, I'm going to go check out these games both in handheld as well as docked and come back with some impressions of the upgrades. Okay, so I played Breath of the Wild in handheld mode, and then I tried Tears of the Kingdom docked, and oh my goodness, I am so happy with these performance upgrades. So like I said, these are some of my favorite games of all time, and they run at 30 or less than that, typically speaking, on Nintendo Switch, especially depending on what area of the map you're in or what you're doing, be that, you know, fighting enemies or maybe there's an explosion on screen. The frame rate can really fall apart. However, it is locked 60. I was flying around, I was trying to do as much intensive stuff as possible, and I was not noticing any frame dips. If you want a good running version of either Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, these upgrades are easily worth the $10, or once again, if you have the NSO expansion pack, they are included there. It's always a treat when we get a 60 FPS Zelda game, and now that we have these, I mean, if the next Zelda game, presumably it's going to be open world, if that's not 60, I mean, it's going to be hard to go to that, because this just, it feels like the final form of Breath of the Wild. Finally, after, you know, almost 10 years, 8 years, whatever it's been, we finally have a version of this game that was a Wii U game, but it's running in 4K 60, and it just feels like a different game almost. Playing it feels so different after putting so much time into this world. Seeing it run at 60 FPS, it really does make a major difference, and the resolution bump, of course, that's nice as well. The draw distance especially, I noticed, switching to Tears of the Kingdom here, like, just going to a tower and then kind of paragliding down and taking in the landscape, I think the draw distance is like way better. I would need to see a one-to-one comparison, but it certainly feels better. That might just be the resolution doing some heavy lifting there. But either way, I mean, you can see more of the world while you're exploring. And yeah, I mean, I'm just really impressed with these versions of the game, and the fact that they're free with NSO. I mean, if you have the expansion pack, like, why not go ahead and download them and try them out? Your saves do transfer over. That's what I did. Although honestly, I'm going to end up doing just my own save file on these. Nice addition to these versions is that you can actually have two save files now. So before, if you wanted to play a new save file and wanted to retain your old one, you would have to make a new entire Switch user profile. Now there is at least a second save file slots for Master Mode if you want to do that. Still weird to me they didn't do Master Mode on Tears of the Kingdom. That's always going to be an oddity to me, because there was no DLC for it, and I was like, okay, well, of course they're going to do a Master Mode free updates, and that never happened. A little disappointing. Like, I have been talking about that for a while now, because I wanted to do a replay of this game on Master Mode, but no, still no Hero Mode or anything like that for this game. Out of these two, I think Tears of the Kingdom is more impressive, just because, you know, it's funny playing both of them back to back like this. Breath of the Wild, I love that game, very impressive for the time. Tears of the Kingdom just has so much more going on that even on Switch was technically very impressive. So to see that on Switch 2 now, and to have all the Sky Islands, you know, diving into the depths, and not seeing a single hitch in the frame rate, I mean, that is so nice. Even if these might not be the highest fidelity games overall, Nintendo knows their art direction, and for them to lock in with this art direction and just have it running this well is, it's great. I mean, it's really just fantastic, and I hope more games on Switch 1 end up getting patches like this. I did not try out the Zelda Notes feature because, frankly, I mean, that's neat, I guess. I just don't really care. I'm sure somebody else on YouTube is going to post all Zelda notes, like unique dialogues or something like that. But I'm not trying to play this game while having my phone out while hearing Zelda talk to me. Like, no, this is a game that I want to play, take in the scenery, really have no distractions, or on the inverse, maybe play while listening to a podcast, but not listening to Zelda tell me where to go. That doesn't sound that appealing to me, but that feature is there as well if you want to check out that. You can also like send items to your phone or something and like transfer them or like share them with friends and share your construct pre-builds and stuff. I don't know. The entire mobile integration of this game feels kind of pointless. It's like they thought, okay, well, we're selling this upgrade, we need to add some new content, but I don't know. I think just the 4K 60 patch is more than enough for me. But let me know what you think of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 editions in the comments down below. Are you planning on checking out these upgrades? Maybe you already have, and if so, let me know what you think of them so far. As always, you can subscribe here for more Nintendo Switch 2 unboxings, although this was the end of the road when it comes to the launch day games, at least those that released in America. We will have more throughout the rest of 2025, though, so if you subscribed recently for all these videos, I do appreciate the support. Stay tuned for more of those. You can follow me on Twitter at BoTalksGames. Check out my other Nintendo news channel at BoTalksGames, and until next time, folks, peace.